Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the VRS GT Sprint Series here at the lovely Summit Point Raceway. I'm Austin. I am joined by Tyler Max. And Tyler, how are you doing?
Good, how are you? And we already have the grid available to us here to go ahead and get started and get ready to go here at this very short racetrack here, which is definitely an interesting track choice for the GT3 cars this season, but should be a lot of fun and a lot of action and very close quarters racing.
I can tell you, I was racing in a bunch of series races earlier today, and it's been nonstop action. This is probably going to be one of the fan favorite races by the end of it because it's just constant action throughout because it's such a short track. Starting on pole is Kyle Dunlop, followed by Diogo Pinto, Ari Nemian, Xai Ross, Pablo Vicente, Juan Torres, Mac Miller, Louis Bibi, Neil Cooper, William Barranvilla, Jose Alredo, Massimo Lucat. Oh my goodness. Chris Frangio, James Salt, Daniel R. Tisdale, Zai E. Mustafa, Lars Batters, Torres Gross, Chris Menzel, Ronald Carlos, Dan Draca, Rick Bourne, Jose Ramambula, Leo Muller, and Camilo Pizzoli. And I believe I butchered everybody's names right there.
I couldn't have pronounced any of the names better myself, so I think you've done a quite nice job there.
Marco would have just gotten that perfect, but he's from
Marco
Europe.
seems to be one of the only ones who can pronounce names just perfectly every single time.
He's Italian, so
of course
makes sense.
But we were talking before the broadcast, and you were saying that Yaman Torres, who won last split, surprisingly starting down in 6th place.
Yeah.
So we'll have to keep an eye on him to make a rapid charge to the field.
Yeah, Torres was absolutely incredibly fast in the 11 a.m. Race that just happened before this one launched up, and just dominating. He did have a fight at the end with somebody else. It was a 1-2 car battle. A lap car actually got involved with that one, and they were just running through it. But as we're going slowly through this, let's take a look around Summit Point Raceway. Not a lot of people know this track. Sir, you and I, we've both driven on this track in real life and raced here. First turn, massive braking zone, massive hairpin, but too wide through here. You can sometimes go 3 wide on this exit, but it's going to be very hectic, especially on the first lap coming into this rising left-hander.
Yeah, it's definitely a very tricky corner, especially with the exit. It's easy to pick up an off track if you run just a little bit too far wide and into the gravel. I've actually never driven this track in real life. I know, have you driven here before?
Yes, I have.
Wow, so yeah, I've actually never driven here before. Definitely a place that I want to go drive, but place I have not had the privilege of driving in yet.
It's a great track to drive in. This turn right here, as you enter the cloverleaf, is so hard because there's a bump on the inside. If you get a little bit unstable as you enter the cloverleaf right here, this is the slowest part of the track, the hardest braking zone in my mind, and the best overtaking spot on track as well because it's such a tight turn and you can easily snipe a car that is braking a little bit too cautiously. Then it's 2 double right-handers out of that exit of the cloverleaf. Great place to watch a race right here. A few S's, bit bumpy throughout it, and coming out of the second to last turn, the pace car is going to start speeding off as this is going to be the slowest rolling start you will ever see.
So actually, that's exactly why I just pulled up the HUD there, because I actually just want to see how slow. We'll see if Kyle Dunlop backs the field up enough so that he can get a nice jump through the final corner as the pace car is just about to pull off and peel off into the pit lane. The pace car peels off, and in the hands of Kyle Dunlop, the field is ready to go racing here in Summit Point.
He's going to wait to the very corner, and on the apex, he launches it, and Kyle Dunlop's already got a massive start, and he's followed by Pinto and Nemian and Ross as we're going racing here at Summit Point.
Kyle Dunlop leads them by a long shot here down into turn number 1. They're too wide behind him. Not too much action, though. Pablo Vicente goes down the inside, and he will actually slot up into third place, and there's one car over.
Down. That's Bravia. That's Mac Miller upside down, actually, and I believe he's flipped back up. Yeah, that was Mac Miller up on his roof. Very unfortunate for him. He might need to go to that replay once more. going down to first. It's very complicated. McMillan swings it into the outside line, goes on, lifts off the gas, hits onto the brakes, and almost gets nailed. He just got nailed by the back, and we are on a roof.
So unfortunate end there to his race. It ended very, very quickly. And there we go. Just finishing up now. Lap number 1 is almost in the books. That just shows how short the lap time is here at Summit Point Raceway. Kyle Dunlop runs his way through the final corner, and he will lead on to the straightaway now for lap number 1.
Wide right behind there. Actually, there's a massive split. Bibby, Pinto, and Cooper. These guys are all battling out. I believe Cooper got into the gravel, and he's that slow Audi, and he's the one flashing his lights, actually. As they're going to go too wide into the braking zone. Look for that Mercedes trying to dive it out in there, but Cooper's right there. And this is great pack racing on a great track.
Yes, we're going to do a lot of onboards here because this is definitely a good track to do that at. The cameras are not the best here. So you can see Pinto all on the back of that Evo CSR car of Lewis Bibby. As they work their way into the hairpin, one of the most tricky corners to get into. It's so easy to just kind of overcook the entry, and you lose a lot of time there on the exit. But your leader right now is Kyle Dunlop. He has 1.3 seconds over Ari Nemian in second place, and then right now it's Mercedes 1, 2, and 3. But keep an eye on Yaman Torres in the McLaren. He's always quick, and he is definitely quick here today.
Yeah, Torres, absolute master class in that McLaren. Been dominating this season outside of broadcasting and inside of broadcasting. So he gets that McLaren stuck inside that giant Mercedes draft and sends it up to the inside, and that's an easy overtake for Torres. And he gets a little bit of a bump from Sente, just letting you know that he's still there. But Torres is just going to drive off using that McLaren speed to his power. And honestly, don't see a lot of McLaren drivers, but Torres is just one of those drivers that can just nail this car down.
Yeah, he's definitely very good at it. You can see the Audi is actually quite a popular choice today, more so than the Mercedes. We're actually seeing a little bit of interesting car choice here today. We usually see most drivers go for either the Mercedes or the Audi, but today we are seeing a few Ferraris and a few BMWs in there as well. No Fords, though, sadly, as we haven't seen it all in this series. Actually, I would love to see someone just come and run the Ford just for one race, because I think that they would get a lot of attention, just being that they are the only Ford out there.
Yeah, the Ford is a handful. I've seen some Fords in lower splits, I can tell you that, and they're very fun to pass. That's all I can say.
Fastest lap, though, right now for Dunlop.
Yeah, Kyle, very fast around this lap. He did have pole, and he's got a 2-second gap behind him. Nemian, and he's got Torres on his back, so Nemian's going to be focusing more on Torres and trying to keep up with Kyle. Also, pit stop strategy. Expect everyone to go into the pits around the 30-minute mark. I didn't see a lot of people extending it to the 35-minute mark, and looking at the grass, it looks like somebody had a massive off-track excursion. Oh, there's somebody else off track. That's Bibby off track. Wide in the cloverleaf coming up. Oh, he's a bit unstable. That's going to give Chris a very big jump on him.
Did Bibby get pushed out into the grass, or did he just overcook the entry and just drive it on out there?
I didn't see any contact. I think that was all on him. Oh, there's another car up on this inside that was off the track earlier. But here we are on Bibby. Gets onto the curb, and oh, he did avoid that. And nope, yeah, there was a tap right there.
Yeah, that was a real dive there by Ross. Able to get himself obviously up in position, but cost Bibby quite a bit of time. I'm sure that there will be some love lost between those drivers. Right now, Torres is chasing down Ari for second place, but he's got a long way to go if he wants to catch up to Kyle Dunlop in the Mercedes, who currently has a 2.5-second lead. But look at Pinto. Look at down the inside into the hairpin. Not able to make it stick there. It's very difficult to make it stick there because the driver on the outside has the inside for the next corner. If he could just hang it around the outside, and it's really not hard to do there, so.
I've done one move right there. I've done one move up the inside right there, and I set him up for that flying right-hander, and you send that thing into the braking zone, and that's the only way you can actually secure that spot if you're battling it side by side with him. As Nemian and Torres, Nemian was just off track. This is going to give Torres in that McLaren a big punch of air. And here comes Torres spinning up the flames, and up the inside he goes, but he cooks it a little bit too much. And on the switchback, Nemian keeps P2. Wonderful switchback. Oh, we got a car spun around. That's Cooper.
That's Ross.
Oh.
Ross is around. So that's cost him a lot of time there, but the battle for second is still not over.
This is absolute chaos at this track, and I believe this is my favorite track of the series. Torres just sitting behind Nemian, waiting to go for that hairpin move once more, and I believe that's his best chance at an overtaking opportunity. You can get an overtake through here, but it's just very risky to do it.
Yeah, it's such a tight section of the racetrack. It's so difficult to just get your nose up on the inside and get the move fully done, because really it's easy for the driver to hold it, or easy for him just to squeeze you up into the grass, which can easily cause a slowdown or even a big spin. It's rarely easy to spin there if you just get up a little bit too much on the curbs. Torres, though, making it smart and using this front straightaway to his advantage. A very long front straightaway here at Summit Point. And he'll send it down the inside of Nemian. Will he overcook it this time? He won't.
Yeah, he's riding on the bumps on the inside, getting his car rotated more, and Torres very cleanly made it through there, and very classy move by Ari Nemian to give him a little bit of room. But now watch Nemian try to use that Mercedes power to his advantage, and he might try something coming up into the cloverleaf.
Definitely an option for him, but it'd be difficult. Let's look back at the battles for sixth, though. It's Bibby trying to make his way back through the field. Neil Cooper just ahead of him. Bibby, we know he was fast. He was definitely fast last lap. 0.2 of a second faster than Cooper ahead of him, and 0.3 of a second faster than Pinto, and actually even faster than Vincent. So he has definitely got the speed to be up towards the front. He's just got to get himself back up there. Neil Cooper, though, one of the drivers in his path to getting back to the front. We're only 7 minutes into this race. We still have a good 33 minutes left. And we should be seeing pit stops right around the 20-minute mark, like you said, Austin. So we always have that, which is definitely a big throw-up for what can happen.
Sorry about that. We're looking at the battle for six. Cooper leading out Bibby. He's followed by Ferrando, El Mustafa, Luciano, and Aldeo. And all these guys are starting to spread out just a little bit. That battle for third is still going on. But this is really the biggest train. I kind of want to see that battle for 10th, actually.
Jump back to the battle for 10th. It's a very deep one. A deep one indeed.
Yeah, all these guys in a massive train. You're going to start seeing this right now in this part of the race. Everyone's pretty much spread out, and it's going to be a strategy game through here like we saw at Barber Motorsports Park, and where everyone's spread out. Not a lot of battling is happening right now, but cars are following extremely close, especially this battle for 12th right now between Salt and Ross. Here comes Salt using that white Mercedes nose to scare Ross just a little bit, pop him a little bit of gravel up, coming into Cloverleaf. Here comes Salt up the inside in the braking zone, exactly where I said you should go, and Salt makes that move count. What a move. Oh, that was Pizzolzi.
Yes, it is Pizzolzi now up in to 13th place. Salt is down to 14th. That's where he started, but Pizzolzi is definitely quick. He started down to the 25th and last position on the grid. He's currently your biggest mover, up 12 places so far here from his starting position. Keep an eye out for him whenever you see a little bit later on in the race. You can actually see just a battle ahead.
Yeah, Ross made a move on the straight and got around the other Audi right there. And Ross is back up into 11th in that gold and black colored car.
So Ross definitely got some speed. He is down 7 positions. Don't quite know exactly. Oh, yes, he actually was spun around in turn number 1. Speaking of that, though, we do have a replay there for what happened. Let's actually go ahead and check out a replay here, and let's just see. It happened a few laps ago to him, which caused him to have that big incident. There's the Audi of Pinto diving it on the inside. Just a little bit of contact. That's all it takes. And he was spun around. But Neil Cooper right now, he's feeling the pressure from Lewis Bibby.
Yeah, Bibby under pressure by the Fury Simsport driver. No, Fury Simsport driver under pressure by Bibby. And this is a Audi versus Mercedes battle, a battle we've been seeing all season. So Bibby closing up on Cooper. Cooper using a wider line on the exit. And this battle's actually been happening for a while now. I believe these two have been following each other as we've entered the 11th minute mark.
I think Pizzoli actually went into the pit lane that time.
Yes,
that's a bit of an interesting strategy. Doing the reverse on everyone, maybe trying to get out of traffic and not have to deal with that later on in the race.
Yeah, Pizzoli came out of the pit lane, but he's already in traffic's way as Kyle Dunlop is closing in on him right there.
So there we go. Kyle Dunlop right now is your leader. He's got 4.2 seconds over Yaman Torres, who, like you said, won the last race that we had here this afternoon. He's definitely quick, but right now is no match for Kyle Dunlop in the Mercedes. But look at Bibby and Neil Cooper side by side at the exit of turn 1. Cooper gets the elbows out, and Cooper will hold on to the position.
What a great defensive move by Cooper, holding it on to the inside line. Usually we don't see that usually work out right there. But he held out onto the inside line and made it stick. And now Bibby and Cooper so close to each other. Coming into the cloverleaf, Bibby going for the outside. He might go for a switchback right now and use that overspeed that he did from using the wider line to gain a little bit of advantage on Cooper. But the Audi is just so nimble through here.
Yeah, that's one of the advantages the Audi does have. It is one of the more nimble GT3 cars, if not the most nimble that you can have. Just that you can really get it through these tight, twisty sections. It may not be the fastest down the straightaways, but it is definitely really quick through those tight and twisty sections that we have here at Summit Point Raceway. This is not your traditional GT3 track, is it, Austin? It's very tight, twisty, and it's almost like a street course, really, if you look at it. Even has some painted lines like a street course.
When we were driving this thing, Cooper goes wide and Bibby takes it onto the inside. These two are going side by side. We got a drag race here in Virginia, but Cooper's going to take it. But yeah, Summit Point, I believe one of my teammates, when we were driving this thing, he described it a racetrack in a park. Because this track looks just like a park turned into a racetrack. It is purpose-built. It's just so tight through here. The little single-seaters that we raced on here, they're wide enough to go 3 wide, but not much more than that.
Still pretty impressive, though, for how small this racetrack is that you even could go 3 wide. But that is single-seaters for you. They're definitely not these big GT3 cars that we have out here today on the circuit. I don't think the circuit was quite designed for cars of this size to be racing out here, but nonetheless, we are racing here. And so far, it's provided some great racing, some pretty close racing, some action, which is always great to see in the VRS Sprint Championship.
Yeah, it definitely has the most interesting starting procedure, I must say. That very slow roll-off than the other roll-offs that we've seen around here. As Pinto and Vicente, these two are going at it. Another Audi versus Mercedes battle. Is Pinto going to go down the inside? No! Vicente defends it onto the inside. What a great move by him. Great defensive. And Pinto might try something around the outside using the Audi's nimbleness through here, but that Merc power is just going to extend it on the straight.
Here's another battle. That's gross. Down the inside of Ross. Ross, though, easily able to keep that car up. He's coming early for a very early pit stop, actually. Earlier than I expected, at least. Here's another battle. Mac Miller
on his rear wing. Going back up to Mueller and Miller. Don't get these two names confused. It's going to be hard. We saw Miller at the very start of the race end up on his roof, performing a great barrel roll for us as he's chasing down. Oh, and Mueller goes slow into the corner. The Ferrari over braking that corner, and Mac Miller getting that easy overspeed on him in that very beat up Mercedes. But I think that Ferrari's going to battle it right back on him. We're looking back at Pizzoli and Mansell. No, Miller held it out.
He got so sideways, though, did Mueller coming through the final corner. That was a nice save of him, but he really did get sideways, lost all momentum down the straightaway, which is definitely a big thing here. The GT3 cars, they may have power, but they don't have enough to make up whenever your competitor gets a good exit and you slide through the corners. So they right now, you can see, though, Pizzoli not too happy here with Mansell, as Mansell continues to battle.
Yeah, Mansell didn't really give Pizzoli a lot of room going into that rising chicane here at Summer Point, or as I like to call the rallycross section, because everyone I know just goes straight through that gravel now. Always nice to get it very dirty on the track. Later on in the races, going to start seeing smoke peek up from the track as Pizzoli keeping his car locked in on that Ferrari, as well as looking at the battle for second. And, well, yeah, it is the battle for second. I don't know what our battle box is doing right now. This is the battle for third. No, battle for fourth. As Sensei and Pinto are still going at it.
They are still going at it. And that should have fixed the battle box there. Sorry about that. But yeah, Pinto now up into fourth place. And doing a nice job here to lead out. Another driver that we see in the series a lot, but not a driver that always does well. It's Chris Fergano. And he is currently up into 8th place and chasing down Neil Cooper just ahead of him. We see Bibby. He really got the jump over Cooper and has really been able to pull away. He's really shown what kind of pace he has. Right now, matching pace with the driver who we just saw, Pinto, who just made that excellent move on Pablo Vincent to get himself into 4th place. So let's keep an eye on Bibby and see if he can get himself back up there once the pit stops play out. If he can work a nice strategy and have a nice, easy time getting himself back up into the top spots.
Yeah, this track is technically in Chris's backyard, so he might have some actual experience on here. A lot of track days are held here at 7 Point, so I know a lot of people on iRacing in this part of the area have driven 7 Point in real life. It's a very fun track car day and just love racing day kind of track.
It's definitely a fun track to drive. It looks fun. At least it knocks Cooper off. Cooper is way off the circuit.
Yeah, the Audi got caught up by one of the bumps and got shot off track, and he's fallen down to 13th, make that 14th right now. So let's ride on board with Neil Cooper, riding on the curves inside the cloverleaf. Now this is all just fine. It's his exit right here that will really define it. He hits this inside curve. Yep, hit that, and there goes the back end of that Audi.
Such a weird one, too, because it looks like the car just didn't ever rebound off the curb. It just kind of stuck to it all the way around, and
it tank slapped.
Took him for a nice, wild ride there.
It was a tank slapper, classic Audi tank slapper. You get it onto a curb here at 7 Point, and that going downhill and turning left does not want to rotate the car because you've already shot it off to the right. And once you get it going, it's just going to oversteer on you. So El Mustafa, Luciano, and Aledo in this three-way battle for 8th. This is a classic 7 Point battle. As Aledo is having a little bit of connection issues. And here's Pizzoli and Balters. And another 4-car battle. Ooh, look at that Ferrari.
Pizzoli is really held up by this traffic right now. This is not what he needed if he wanted to gain any sort of time. Right now, all he's doing is just losing it. He's actually still putting in really good laps.
Yeah, great constant laps. All these guys setting in the 106, 107 range. Pizzoli, his last lap was a 106.4, and that is up there with the top guys. Kyle Dunlop's setting a 106 flat, though, so there's a reason why he's out in front. And look at Ross and Marcel. These guys are going side by side. And here comes Pizzoli, and Balter's about to go. Nope, nope, he thought about it. And Ross up the inside, keeping Mansell at bay. These guys coming up the right chicane. Anyone going to take the rallycross line? No. A little bit of dirt more on track as we are halfway through the race.
So 20 minutes into this 40-minute race here at Summit Point. And here we go. Here's battle for 9th. Actually, battle for 8th, sorry. It's Lokello at the helm. Zayed in 2nd and Jose in 3rd. It's a nice 3-car train. 2 Mercedes and 1 Audi. Checking on your leader, though, Kyle Dunlop. Currently leads by 4.1 seconds over Yaman Torres. He's doing an amazing job to be in 2nd place. So right now he's doing a nice job just holding his own out in the front of the field.
Yeah, Kyle Dunlop, great show of driving pace right here as to somebody's bad on the radio right now. I'm not sure who that was. I didn't get the notification on our screen that somebody was talking, but it was really, so I believe there might have been contact between 2 drivers.
Just looking here. I may have found out why.
Oh, that's Pizzoli and Ross in this massive 4-pack group. Something about when do you want to braking. Oh, that was Ross getting taken out.
So Ross taken out there. That was a hard hit for him.
It's a massive hit. That's the second time we've seen him get hit right there. So he's obviously going to be mad. I wish we saw another shot at that, but that was looking at our replay. Well, Ross is already down into 21st because he went directly into the pits.
Actually, we're just going to jump just back to this one right here. Here's another view of what happened. Let's get an exterior view right now.
Yeah, riding on the back of Ross, looking at that black Ferrari. And, oh my goodness.
Punted. Huge punt there for him. That cost him a lot of time, and actually, I think just put him out of the race.
Yeah, he's out of the race.
Not be happy about that.
He's out of the car. He's not even happy. Heck, I wouldn't be happy. There might be a protest as there's a slow Ferrari. That's Disdale going slow.
I think that he was who actually got in.
Yeah.
To the back of Ross there, and as we see here, a blinking Audi on the inside. Although, but right now, Massimo Locatello. You can see that Audi really blinking there, so it's very difficult to race a very blinking car. So, Locatello doing a nice job, and a smarter decision, just kind of give him some room and let him continue. You definitely don't want to get caught up in someone else's crash if they're blinking a lot.
Yeah, people blinking will really drive me mad. It also depends on which track, especially in tight oval races. Oh, no. Do not want that happening. As Pinto and Nimian, these guys having a decent battle for 3rd. Neither of these guys come into pits, and we're coming into the crucial pit area as we're entering the 25th minute. This is when your radio and your car is going to start saying, hey, you're low on fuel, should consider coming in. Funny thing, seems that everyone's been using Fuel Mix 3, and I've never seen anyone on Fuel Mix 2.
Yeah, I think that's kind of just a weird fuel mix that no one really likes to use. It's kind of a weird fuel mix, to be fully honest. It's definitely not my favorite.
Oh, Namian, disastrous in the Clover, goes extremely wide. Missed that apex completely. That's going to give Pinto a great jump.
Right now, the overlay, sorry about that. The overlay did just freeze up just a little bit there on us. Here, just momentarily, we're getting it back going.
We're still watching over Pinto and Nemian. These two guys racing out outside of the hairpin as we're trying to fix these technical difficulties going on. I believe they should be fixed right about now. There we go.
Overlay has been fixed. So sorry about that. We just had a little bit of an issue with the connection to the overlay. And we are now back and running. So I wish I could have made it work for you whenever you snapped your fingers, but sadly...
It was around the same time as we see Salt going a little bit wide, and Breva and Pizzoli, it's all kicking off right now. Cars going side by side and all over the place. That's Gross's Salt. Salt on the back of Gross, but Gross leading out into the rising 7-point chicane. Really is a chicane, but it feels like a chicane. There's just only one place to put a car there, and that's on the curb.
Yeah, definitely lose a lot of time if you don't.
Yeah,
Look at that, these drivers all forming up.
A lot of drivers in the MX-5 series, they know this track. This is a very fun track for the MX-5s, and have GT3 cars thrown around here is just even more fun to watch. But once you get a gap, it's just game over for anyone behind you, as Kyle Dunlop and Torres and Pinto are making that seam right now. But they have not come into the pit lane yet. The last person to come into the pit lane, Pizzoli, who's up in 15th right now. He is a top pit lane runner currently. And we have a driver with 12 off tracks. That's Pinto with 12 off tracks, and he might be closing disqualification here. 17x.
It's definitely a possibility. So I'll have to start thinking about that.
I've been disqualified around this track before. It sucks.
It's easy to do. I mean, you overcook a couple of corners and you're getting a lot of incident points.
Yeah, and going over 40 laps here per race. Going around 30 laps here per race, and this chicane right here is the main source of all these off tracks. And there's another one.
Was that a DQ? No, it wasn't.
No, not a DQ, but he did extend the track limit, but did not get an off track right there. But if you go a little bit more, you will get an off track. You see all the people in the pits in the back coming in right now. Balters, Marcel, Barevia, all these guys heading into the pits now. When is Mr. Kyle Dunlop going to head in? Because we're heading into the crucial 29th minute now. And this is where usually the leader is going to start heading into pit. And there's Nemian into pits. And there goes, yeah, that was Nemian.
So Nemian into the pit lane. Pinto's going to continue.
Yeah,
right now the driver with the most incidents. Just because I'm just trying to find something that we need to watch out for is Pizzoli, actually, at 13.
14.
14 now as he goes off track again.
He's at 15, actually. I think he's one incident away from being disqualified because I believe he was involved in a car contact, which might have gave him 1 to 2x. And he's sitting at 15 right now. So we might be seeing a disqualification. I saw this on the very last lap. Someone to get disqualified ahead of me. I got promoted up to 3rd, but it didn't feel good. I don't believe, yeah, everyone here nope, there is one driver that has no incident. That is Leo Mueller. Up in 13th place.
No, that's impressive. Considering we see how many incidents everyone else has. Let's actually give him a quick shout out here.
Yeah, Mueller up onto the inside. That's a slow for. I think we have a car out of fuel. I think that Ferrari's out of fuel. As
No, I
Kyle
think that's
Dunlop,
I think that's just the typical weird Ferrari noises that the Ferrari decides to make.
well, he's going extremely slow down the straight. And Kyle Dunlop, he's in the pits, and he just came out of it, and he rejoined up in 5th place as we were covering that strange Ferrari incident. And with all the incident limits of a few people, looking down the straight, Leo Muller under pressure by the very overpressure Pizzoli, and these are two different drivers. One cautious and one super aggressive. One's nearing disqualification as Torres heads into the pits.
Torres into the pit lane. Let's see where Dunlop comes out. Let's see if Torres was able to gain any sort of time over Kyle Dunlop. I don't think he's going to, but if he is, then that would be quite impressive. The strategy is pretty straightforward for these races. Not too much difference that we're going to see as there goes Torres. He's coming out of the pit lane. It's going to be pretty close.
Not close enough though for Torres because he has to get that McLaren accelerated up there. Coming down that straight, Kyle Dunlop just has so much speed. He's traveling at 140. He's traveling at 100 miles an hour, and Torres just barely able to get up to 134 from the 150 that McLaren that Mercedes can get up to.
Did close in a lot of time though.
Oh yeah, that was
down to 1.7 seconds.
That was 4 seconds, close up to 1.7. We're back at Muller versus Pizzoli. Pizzoli going up to the inside. They're going to go side by side. Is Pizzoli going to send it into the braking zone? Yes, he is, and he's held that. And wow, Muller gave him all the space in the world. Didn't defend that one bit. If he knew the incident number on Pizzoli, he could have had that position. And oh! Pizzoli, he spun it, and he just avoided contact, but he's off track. That's 16 right there. If there was contact, he would have been disqualified.
Wow, that would have been unfortunate. That would have just added insult to injury for him. Being that you already got DQ'd, and then, or you've already spun, then you get DQ'd because you made contact. So that's a bit unfortunate, but
very unfortunate for Pizzoli, and I think he knows that he's on 16X right now, and he should probably keep it going a little bit smoother. As Disdale's going into pits, we got a nice little ding-dong of a battle between two beat-up cars, Miller and El Mustafa. Ooh, Miller, is that a brake check?
I think that was a bit of a punt from Musala. Let's actually get a quick replay on that one, because that seemed to be like Musala actually kind of punted Mac Miller there.
Well, Mac Miller's going very slow. I think that may have been a brake check. If we ride on board with Mustafa, well, Miller's going to the pits anyway.
Let me try to quickly cue that up. Here we go. Let's do that. Let's ride on board here with them.
Yeah, Miller does have one taillight out. So here's Mustafa around the outside. A little bit of switch back from Miller. There's one tap. There's two taps. Oh, okay. That was a punt. That was Mac Miller getting very out of control, and Mustafa just saying, "Get out of my way." A little bit of aggressive pushing as we see Bibby and Vicente having a little bit of a raise as Adeo ahead of him is coming out of the pit lane. Riding onto the gravel. Vicente as Aldea is going to get swamped by him, and oh, Bibby almost was in the line of fire. As Kelly into the brake zone, a little bit of swerving under braking from Vicente right there, just sitting into the middle of the track. That's completely legal, he can do that. But Bibby, he's got his nose in onto the inside. They're going to go side by side here. Are we going to have classic summit point? No, we are not. But Vicente goes off, and there he takes the rally cross line and gets overtaken. A little bit of smear off the door from Bibby as he takes 5th place. Classic summit point overtake right there. Bibby is going a little bit wide. Bavaria is off track. Way off track for him. Came back on. Look at the battle for 10th right now. Dizel Locatello just watching as we see that Mercedes going all over the place. See that front nose pointing left, right, center, up, down, and middle. Just in that sector, it's so hard to control that car.
So there we go. Vincente now having to defend from Aldio. Bibby, though, has gotten ahead, and he is checked out. Currently sitting at 9/10 of a second ahead of Pablo Vincente. And he's continuing to gain.
Battle for 5th, Aldeo and Vicente. And also we got Bibi up there. But the real battle is the battle for 6th right behind him between Aldeo and Vicente. Vicente under pressure by Aldeo, who's swooping in all and over with just 4 minutes left. And you might say that this might have been a very lackluster race at the front, but it's been a great midfield battle going on. Battles all over the track. It's just those classic old school racing following battles, though, so not drivers sending it whenever they go karting battles that we are sometimes used to seeing.
Just continuing to watch this battle here. It's going to continue to form up. Like you said, we've had an amazing midfield battle, even though the battle in the front has been the best.
Look at the battle for 10th, though. Here's Dinsdale. He's going to try for a move around the outside. Oh, Pizzoli almost got into the back of him. He is 1 incident point away, and I kind of wanted to watch Pizzoli with 3 minutes left to go. Can he make it? Oh! Was that it? Was that it? That was 17.
Was it? That may have been.
That was 17.
Point away then now.
I must say, our live timing software, the off-track penalties are not like the iRacing stuff, so sometimes it's not as accurate, but it does tell us who is close. Pizzoli is at 8:17 off tracks right now.
So it is actually quite close. It's only 1 off.
Well, sometimes the off-track isn't showing what it actually is. Pizzoli gets a nice run outside the very final turn. He's got a drag race with Dinsdale on his inside. As we see Dinsdale, he got a passing clean using that Mercedes power on that Ferrari. Kind of like you see in Formula 1 sometimes. But Pizzoli outside that corner moves up into P12. He's got Locatello up ahead, and James Salt they're closing in on.
Yeah, they're closing in slowly but surely, but with only 2 minutes left in the race, I don't think that they are going to be catching up to that top 10. It's pretty much going to be a battle for pride for P11.
Hey, racing drivers, you never say no and never say down to a fight. That's how we go. Pinto's off. He's got it in no man's land. 15 seconds behind the leaders right now and 2 seconds ahead of the car behind him. So he's doing whatever he wants.
He doesn't have really much to fight for at this point unless the leaders take each other out, but it's down to 1.3 seconds, though, for the lead. Torres closing in on Dunlop. Dunlop's got some traffic he may have to deal with, too. And look at Aldio defending here from Pablo Vincent.
Yeah, Vicente held it on to the inside, but look at Aldeo. Aldeo in that Audi is going to hold it around to the outside now, and now he's on to the inside, switches back behind Vicente, as Vicente has a little bit of rallycross excursions here at some point style as we enter the very final minute, and I believe the very final lap here, and I think that fight for first might come down to something.
I think it's pretty much going to be a pretty much wrapped up one. As here is Eladio all up on the curb, and there is Vincent. Not into the side of him. That's important.
Thank you, Lee, for clearing that up for us. I knew they weren't as accurate as Torres has a little bit of a slide going up into the right chicane, and he's fallen away from Kyle Dunlop. And Kyle Dunlop does have traffic, but Torres is going to be pushing as mad as he can. He is a top-rated driver in this session, so we'll see what he can do.
He's not close enough, though. He won't be close enough.
Never say never in some situations, but I believe this will be the point. And he had pole. I believe he has the fastest lap. and he led almost every single lap. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner of the VRS GT Sprint Series, Kyle Dunlop, here at Summit Point Raceway. He's followed by Torres, and coming out of your podium is going to be Pinto. And ooh, Cooper, and massive spin right here. That is Miller off. There's a car going slow as the radio is going absolutely nuts right now. Just like people screaming at each other. I hope you can hear this.
No, I cannot hear it. I do have all of the stuff turned off as everyone really starts to file across the line. But here's Pizzoli. Will he go for the bumper? He doesn't. And he will slot in and take 12th place. He isn't able to get to the bumper there of Lucello.
Pizzoli. He finished.
That is the important part. He didn't DQ.
Yeah, 17 off tracks, so that'll get you. As I must say, our off-track software is not the same that iRacing Incident Point software. Would be cool to see, but he is pretty much close. It's just we'll see what happens. I'll actually look at the results, see what he got. As Miller and Masai gets out, and I believe we are finished here. Let's bring up these results. Taking the win in the VRS GT Sprint Series here at Summit Point, Kyle Dunlop takes the win, followed by Gianni Torres, Diego Pinto, Ari Nimian, Luis Bibby, Jose Aldeo, Pablo Vicente, Chris Ferragino, Jose Ramon Bula, James Saw, Marcelo Locatello, Camilo Pizzoli, Daniel R. Dinsdale, Rick Bourne, Alan Mustafa, Cooper, Miller, but Balters. And I believe our lap down cars are, no, Mueller and Mansell. These guys were on the same lead lap. And our lap cars, I was expecting a lot more lap cars. Carlos Barreva and Ross, who left out after a crash. And those are our 25 finishers in the top split.
That is the 25 drivers here in top split here today. And it's been another good race here for the VRS Sprint Championship. Let's check out where we're heading next week. So I don't remember that off the top of my head.
That will be Suzuka.
So we'll end off the 2019 Season 3 Championship in Suzuka and in style here for the finale of the VRS Sprint Series. We'll hopefully see you then on Apex Racing TV. We'll quickly go ahead and close this out as we quickly have a quick turnover to the PSR MX5 Pro Series live on the iRacing Esports Network. Be sure to go ahead and jump over there and watch the action live from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. So we're going from one track in America to another, and we're going from GT3 racing to MX5 racing. So don't go anywhere. Catch us on Apex Racing TV and on the iRacing Esports Network in just a few minutes time. We should be live in about 15 minutes. Austin, any final thoughts here from Summit Point?
Well, I just looked at the overall standings, and Kyle Dunlop is in 6th place overall. Right behind him is Pizzoli in 7th place overall in the overall standings over on the iRacing division. So that's for the overall win. So the fight at the top is very close, but he is currently down by 100 championship points to Marco E.D. Actua. So the championship is still up in the air for the GT Sprint Series overall in iRacing. But what a great race you saw. I'm super excited for Suzuka next week. I hope you guys are too. Tyler, thank you for broadcasting, and thank you all to our viewers who tuned into this. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a great night.